Hello, hello.
Hi, everyone.
So, does everybody know why Ramon wasn't around on Friday? Did somebody have a birthday over the weekend?
Can I deny it?
I mean, you can, but I know the truth. And do you know what? I'm more trustworthy than you are for the learners right now because I
Fair
was
point.
actually here. So,
Mhm.
so y'all believe me, right? So, happy birthday, my lovely.
Thank you.
And very, very quickly, as a birthday treat, please, for anybody who hasn't been here before, explain what we're doing.
Yeah, totally. Thank you all so much for joining. If you're here for the first time and you're like, "Oh, what's going on here? This looks really cool." Um, I'm I'm Ramon. Jess and I are running this series of free boot camps. We are currently on the second to last week of the free JavaScript.
Penultimate.
Yeah. Free JavaScript bootcamp. We are currently learning intermediate object-oriented programming. If you want to catch up, everything's on youtube.com/at bad website club. You'll also find the schedule. And oh my goodness, I'm just seeing the messages. Thank you all so much. Here is the link to the schedule. You'll go to badwebsite.club, and there you'll find all of the info for even a Google Calendar with when we'll stream, which is at this time every day until next week,
Mm.
because we
Oh,
will
yeah,
be
let's
doing,
flag that.
yeah,
So, our
starting
very last week, so folks in the States who are just like, haha, this time zone change really screwed me up, but I'm past it. You're not. So, we'll change our clocks. This Sunday. So the very
that's
last week
correct.
of the boot camp will be maximum time zone changing weirdness. So I think we'll be a hour late, early or later. The hour will change.
Yeah.
But so we had Emily come and join us on Friday, and we abandoned the learners so they could do a bunch of the building together. And I thought we'd join back up on step 50 to do the hard part, not the hardest hard part. Um, And start adding the functionality because this was kind of gnarly for me conceptually. So we're gonna create a
Yeah,
new arrow function.
correct. It's going to be called move player, and it's going to take three parameters: key, x velocity, and is pressed.
Is there a comma?
No, what you're missing, let's get the arguments out of the way. You need, please, after move player, an equal sign,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
an assignment operator.
We definitely didn't have any problems with that while you were gone. Yeah. I mean, obviously, this is the syntax for an arrow function, which I haven't forgotten at all.
Nice. So now we can move on to the next one. And what we're going to do is be checking whether we have collided, our player has collided or crashed into something. So we will create an if statement, and we will be checking that is checkpoint collision detection active is false. So I think this looks
I think
good.
that's it. So, because we
Yeah.
use the not, we use that like
Yep.
do you know what it got us last time as well when it gave us a bunch of, like,
Okay.
little tiny, like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," things, and then got us? So, I'm excited to see if it gets us again. So,
Wonderful.
inside the if statement, so if checkpoint collision detected is false,
Yeah.
set the velocity.
So we need to
Oh,
check
it's
the
a
players. We need to set the player's x velocity and the player's y velocity.
yeah.
Now, oh,
Was that
sorry.
the syntax?
So what we need to do is first access our player,
Oh, yeah.
right? So player dot velocity,
Because
and
it's the
that
velocity that becomes to the player that's the yeah.
exactly. And then we need to access the x. Yep, you got it.
Um And I don't feel like typing this twice, so I'm going to just copy and paste that to what little suspicious. Oh, below that
Perfect.
had a return statement. Look at me just
Very good.
Super excited.
Don't forget the semicolon. Like, it's okay to leave it out. Like, it's totally okay. That's still a pat, in my opinion.
Still a pat pat. Okay, so we're bopping on. This isn't hurting us.
Not at
Fabulous.
all.
The boot camp is free. Free Code Camp is free, but Free Code Camp is a registered nonprofit. If you do have a little bit of cash, it's really, really cool thing to do to donate to them. And that's why we
Mhm.
leave these modals, vocabulary word. We leave the modals in so we can do the little, hey, cool kids, donate to Free Code Camp, but please don't spend any money you don't have. Let's create a switch. I don't remember how to do a switch, but maybe it looks like that.
Yes, below the if statement with a value of key. You need it in brackets. So that key needs to be in brackets.
In like Smooth Babies.
Exactly. Perfect.
And Emily, who's a deadly serious programmer, said they are called curly babies.
Oh, they are? Oh, well, there we go.
So we get a little pat. The first case
Mhm.
is when
So we're
case?
going to, case, before the semicolon. So the syntax for a case statement is before the semicolon, we will have the string arrow left.
Okay, that's before the
So
semicolon.
correct. And it's a string.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they've even given it to us in quotation marks here. And then
And
after the
semicolon.
colon is
After
like
the
when
colon, sorry.
this is where the stuff happens.
In the next line. So
Yeah.
that semicolon will go. Perfect.
Okay.
Nice. That
Below that, so we're
insert
in the case for arrow left right now, but we're adding an if statement inside the case, which we can do.
actually before that, we need to assign to keys.leftKey.pressed.
And I could copy this.
Yeah. Yeah, but you want to do that in a separate line. So after the colon,
Oh, inside the clause case.
yeah, so inside means that we would put a new line. So, yep. Exactly. You read my mind. And here we'll assign that to is pressed. Perfect. Now we'll do we will
We're still
have an if
inside
statement.
the case. So we tab that over.
If, and inside there we'll have the x velocity, which is, remember, one of the parameters of this function,
is
is
that
equals
set
to
to
0.
0.
But right now you're assigning it to 0.
Oh, I want the 3 equals.
The strict equality operator.
No,
I'm not
we're
gonna let
allowed
that
to
go.
say like fun, soft little thing. So
And if
if this is
so, yeah.
definitely equals to equals,
Yep.
equals to 0, we're gonna set
The
the player dot we're gonna assign that to
Mhm.
x velocity.
Correct.
Maybe.
So let's see what let's take a moment to look at what
Oh,
we've got here. If the case is arrow left, we are setting the left key being pressed programmatically. And we're saying, hey, if the x velocity of 0, set the player x velocity to that x velocity, which is a bit weird because what we're doing here essentially is saying, hey, if it's 0, set it to 0.
but we just want to be like super duper sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Below my if statement, use the subtraction assignment to subtract velocity from. Okay.
Okay. I see
I've
what's
got
going on.
do you? Talk me through.
Yeah.
So I know enough to write the code out just based on what it's saying. So player velocity x minus x velocity.
Minus equals.
Oh, minus equals. Oh,
So what?
subtraction assignment operator.
Yeah.
And then break.
And then
So
we had our break with a semicolon.
very, very, very titty on them semicolons. So here
I
we're
get that.
saying if you push the arrow left,
Yeah.
um, And then we're saying we'll set the left key pressed to is pressed.
Mhm.
But if the player is strictly equal, if the x velocity is strictly equal to 0, the player velocity is set to x velocity. So if it's 0, set it to 0. But then what?
So let's go let's go line by line here.
You
We're
go line by
checking.
line. I did the hard work.
You're good. So first, we're checking what key is pressed. If the arrow left key is being pressed, then we set that key's left key pressed object to be is pressed. Then we're checking, hey, if that x velocity is 0, stop the player in its tracks.
Okay, okay. Oh, so like if you're not going anywhere, just stop.
Correct. Well, I think the problem comes with the fact. Can you scroll up just a touch?
Oh,
Keep going, please. Keep going. Let's go
oh, I
back
see.
to
Like,
the move player. Okay. So x velocity here is a parameter that's being given to this function. And this function, I suspect it's going to be, this parameter x velocity kind of ties into what Nojo's asking, like, hey, what's x velocity? We're going to be telling it, hey, this is the speed at which you should move once I press the button. Now let's scroll down again. So if that x velocity being passed, well, see, Nojo Sojo, I think you're tying into what I'm saying. Player.velocity.x is the speed at which the player is currently moving. X velocity is a new x velocity that we are going to assign. So if we're saying, hey, that new velocity, if it is 0, just stop the player.
okay,
Also,
so
oh yeah,
no.
also subtract that x velocity that's being passed in from the horizontal velocity of the player. It's a little bit superfluous or like repeating ourselves, but what we're doing here is just making 100% sure that if we want to stop, we stop.
If you're not supposed to be going anywhere, you're not going anywhere.
Correct. Otherwise, move in the direction of the x velocity. That's a path back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I think this might be right. So Monica's like, "Oh, if we were going somewhere, but
Yeah.
then the key is not being pressed anymore, we need to stop." And I think
Correct.
this is what this is doing.
Yeah.
I think that gaming and these kinds of things is where you get to, like, build something you think works, and then it'll do something wild where you have to be like, "Oh, no, we need to specifically say, set this to 0."
Yep.
So
So
we need 3 new cases, arrow up and spacebar.
we're going to code this now to allow the player to jump, which can be done in 3 ways, either with arrow up, with a blank space, or space bar.
Do we need to have a comma? Well, I don't remember, so
Arrow up. That's okay. We're pairing, so I can tell you.
or we could just try it.
So you want to do case arrow up? No. You want the way you have several of them is by using several cases. You'll see what I mean in just a sec.
No, it says here that I can group those cases together. Remember, I can group cases together when they share the same operation.
But we'll do that with by having several cases. Like that's how it works.
Okay.
Instead of having case break, you'll see what I mean. So after arrow
I
up,
so case
and then case.
case. I
One
believe
more thing,
you. Like I trust you by now. I just don't.
we need a colon after arrow up, the space, and space bar.
Okay. Like again, I do genuinely believe you, but like not like a lot.
That's fine. So we'll have our break, perfect. And in there, before the break, we're going to have the player move up.
Okay.
So we can do that with player velocity x, and we're going to subtract y, pardon me, and we're going to subtract 8. You want to add a new line. I'm going to use the subtraction assignment operator. That's
Yeah,
minus equals.
yes, I knew this. A.
There we go. Now let's check our code. I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Okay, Mehmet obviously, Mehmet's like, "Hey, look, it's like this." I agree with you, but, like, Tina's got my back saying, like, "You know what? I also wanted to put them on the line." Right? Because
I
like,
would have only
CSS, we would
I only know it from experience. I would have been confused as well.
okay, this doesn't quite work. The new
Oh,
case oh, spacebar is
oh my
oh,
goodness.
no, these are
Good
my
catch.
favorite. Look at
Nice.
this. We are
Very good.
shining and immortal, nothing is wrong. Okay, we need an arrow right one. And I'm not even gonna look at the logic. I'm just gonna type out I'm not even gonna type out. I'm gonna
So,
copy this.
a lot of this is meant to be copied. Well, I'm gonna while you do that, I'm gonna answer Steven's question. I'm curious how much others think this lesson is actually trying to teach us as learners about the logic of animation, or is it mostly to practice building classes and objects? That is a great question. I'd love to hear what people think because, um, ooh, Stephen B saying this project felt like a lot of copying and pasting code that only made a very small sense of amount of sense to me. And I'd love to check Stephen B why that's the case. Because the problem I feel is that what while we're not able to test this, it becomes very frustrating. But what I like to do with this sort of thing is to go back and play around with it. Like, hey, what if I make it go to the left instead of going to the right? You know? So
Okay.
by taking a step back and like reading the code and being like, okay, what we're doing here, for example, is trying to understand. And I like to leave myself comments for this sort of thing. I find it very helpful.
Yeah, and I think Lisa's got a good point, and
Ooh.
I hope this isn't unkind because I understand that this is really, really hard to learn.
Yeah.
Um, but this kind of synthesis for learning, I'm learning a language in my free time because 'cause I'm a big
Oh,
nerd.
yeah.
And when I have to do similar things with my tutor where I'm like, "Hey, I've got all these pieces. We've gotta put them together, and I've just gotta keep doing this until it sticks in my brain." I'm always it feels like this with human language as well, like, "Oh, I need to put these words in these order," even though it doesn't feel right yet. It doesn't like, I don't get why this word is means however, or why this
Mhm.
negates something. But, like, you gotta click until it clicks.
Yep.
So I've effectively done the exact same thing for arrow right, except for I've changed the left key is pressed to right key is pressed because we're still saying the velocity, we're still checking to see that the velocity is strictly equal to 0 and then stopping. So set your velocity. Um, okay, no. Oh, use the addition.
Right, because we wanna move to the
Oh,
right as opposed to the left.
oh,
Because
oh.
as the x, coordinate gets bigger, your character moves to the right.
Jane, I'm gonna save that for the end, just to preview the answer. Um, Possibly with your fellow learners, I would personally rather drink salt than do more spreadsheet. But we will try and find time.
Okay,
So,
now we're going to start adding event listeners for catching when we press these keys. The window object, hold on, Jess, could you start with window
no,
dot, please?
I refuse. Oh yeah, because I can't window. I can't just add an event listener to nothing.
Correct. We've worked a tiny bit with the window object. Remember, the browser has a window object. So what we're saying here is like, hey, when I'm in this window and I press a keyboard key, we're going to run
Why?
the following. No, no, you're good, Jess. It's putting it in because it's like it wants you to finish typing. So if
Oh,
you delete, wait, can you get rid of key for me real quick?
I absolutely can. It
So
doesn't like that.
it doesn't like it yet. So can you please, after event, put in an arrow function? So the arrow. Mhm.
Ooh.
Yeah, and now the curly brackets.
Oh.
Yep.
And that's where the key goes.
Nope. Can you make a new line for me, please?
No.
So what we're going to be doing is using the key property in the event object. So instead of passing that object as a parameter to our callback, we're instead going to replace the word event with a destructured object. So what I want you to first do, please, for me, Jess, is add smooth brackets. Replace the event with smooth brackets.
Okay.
Now, inside those smooth brackets, we want to add a destructured object. So we need curly brackets for this.
No, this is wild. This is not okay. JavaScript is illegal.
You're good.
I'm
And
not good.
so
I'm
remember,
gonna
this is the
call the JavaScript office and be like, "What is this? This is inappropriate. It's not okay."
So here we're going to have this event, these curly brackets are the event, and from it we want to destructure out that key, as Mehmet already wrote perfectly. Key. So
Okay,
inside
but
those
like,
curly brackets,
I just want to go ahead and say that Python wouldn't do this to us. Like, no, Joe, I think this might be true that a window object like generally does a lot of the same things as a document object. No, it does. No, it
I'm
doesn't.
not sure. I'm
Or
not
not.
sure.
It
I'm
feels
not
like it
sure.
should, but then again, it feels like this wiggly thing shouldn't exist. So we'll wait to the Q&A and find out how cursed JavaScript gets together. Okay.
So you should be good to go.
Cool. I don't like that at all.
A document is an object inside the window object.
Hey, okay.
So
Mm,
you're totally good. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to call the move player function that we have been implementing so far, with the key itself as the first parameter, 8 as the second one, and true as the arguments. Now, do me a favor, Jess. Could you scroll
no.
up for me, please? Could
Sorry,
you
I'm just
please?
having a very like no day.
You're fine.
Hey, a no day.
So keep going, keep going. I want to scroll all the way up, all the way up, all the way. Okay. So wait, scroll down for me, please. I want to move back to that definition of move player. So it takes 3 parameters: key, x velocity, and is pressed. So when we press a key down, we call it with that key the velocity of 8, which remember is an x velocity, that is a horizontal one, and is pressed, set to true because we have pressed the key down. So what I'm going to ask you to
Okay.
do next for me, Jess, is to please scroll down for me, weird. Sorry, this is what happens when I'm reading the chat and talking at the same time. We can actually already start testing this. Could you do me a favor and go to the game,
Okay.
start game, press some buttons, left and right. Maybe start with right.
Okay, yeah, I am.
Yep, nothing is happening, which isn't terribly exciting. However, we can go back into our function move player and add some console logs and see how it looks. Because to answer
Actually,
Nojo Sojo's question, those come from the event that was taken place on the window object. It doesn't come from the window object itself. So yeah, let's just add a little bit of console logging in there.
yeah. Console log where? In the not in the arrow ups, not in the cases. What were you thinking? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. You know what I'd love to try? In line 92, I just want to see what that key is.
In 92.
Yeah, and now we can go back to start game. Yeah, open up the console.
Hmm. Oh.
Now try other stuff, other buttons. I think you
Oh,
need to be
so
back. You need to click back in the game. Yeah.
oh,
So as Jess is pressing stuff like arrow up, arrow down, could you press a space for me, please? See, it's an empty space.
sorry, I just wanted to illustrate that the spaces were actually happening.
You're good.
Okay.
All right, I
Yeah.
think we're good. We can go ahead and check our work.
Hmm.
Hmm?
Hmm. Running test completed. Okay. Let's add
Cool.
another window to the global. So let's take the global window. Dot add event
Did
listener.
you want me to do some typing?
You know what? I'm very lazy. I'm so sorry. It just occurs to me that I'm being very, very grumpy today. Do you want to trade?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jess.
No, why? Jess, I'm so sorry that you're being mean to me.
You're never mean. I'll go
Consistently
ahead and
mean.
I'll
Remember
go
when I
ahead and
told everybody it was your birthday so they'd embarrass you and make you tear up a little bit?
I think I did pretty good at not doing that. Okay.
Now it's
Let's
my turn. I'm going to be bossy. Please add another event listener to your global window object. Then pass in the key up event and use destructure. Using destructure on the key property means you need the smooth braces and then the curly babies inside them in a way that seems like absolutely irresponsible. Yeah, yeah.
key.
Learning by doing.
So here's a question for everyone.
Oh.
What do we think the difference is between key down and key up?
I have a very, very distinct idea in my heart, but I'll let the learners do it because I bet they know.
When we
Amazing.
press cool. So
No,
when we
look,
press
there's a delay. They need a second because, like, other people are definitely gonna know key and I'm really confident about the difference between key down and key up, which means I'm wrong.
Mhm,
Um, so I'm really, really excited. Okay, so we're using a callback function in here, and we're
mhm.
passing in key, 0, and false. Lisa, this is what I think too. Okay, Tina, that's a the Tina, someday in the Discord, I'm gonna have like, "What do you do for a living?" Because you always use the most no,
Oops,
that's you always use the
sorry.
most precise technical language. I'm very jealous. The joy of programming is saying key up fires when we release the key.
Perfect.
Eric, I absolutely love this. It's just like uppy downy. I'm like, uppy downy.
Ooh,
So
are
we've got
those
a wide
emojis?
range like the Unicode characters. We've got a wide range of correct answers here. Everything's fine. And Joy Coding's just like, oh, key down is gonna sort of continue to register as true for as long as we're pushing on that key.
Cool.
You are truly bringing us the joy of programming. Thank you, my lovely.
So key down gets fired when we press the key down, and key up gets fired as soon as we let go of the key. And we can see it here. Check it out. We're setting the X velocity to 0. That makes sense. If we're not pressing the
Okay.
key anymore, we
So
don't
as
want to
soon
move
as we
anymore.
let go, stop moving. There's a lot of logic here for like just stop.
So
Animate,
mm,
animate, animate.
in starter state, delete player.draw and call the animate function. Cool. Sorry.
Oh
Struggling a
yeah,
little
it's
bit.
not so easy, is it?
I'm struggling a little bit to type today. Bear with me.
No. You let me know if we could trade back.
You're good. Now that just oh my
No,
goodness.
hush up.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Cool.
Do you know what's really excited about this?
No?
Is there is so obviously all of the project learners, do you think that if you're putting these JavaScript projects in your portfolio, do you think you should just put them in as they are, or should you maybe refactor them and make them your own?
Oh, I
And
would
are you a learner?
sorry.
I mean, yeah, yeah. Um, but like with this game, there's so much potential to refactor this into something like very cute and weird. Oh, Lisa's like, modify it. Yeah, let's get weird. I'd love to see like a bouncing candy thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna make it like jump very gently. Oh, wow.
Oh, oh,
I can't move it on.
I love her so much. Lisa's just after my own heart. There is no extra credit. I can't like give you anything, but like adds cats and sparkly things. Nojo makes a solid point to say, do you know, we could take pieces of this code. And Nojo's saying, I will.
Mm,
Very noble. Take pieces of this and build something else from scratch. So not even refactoring, like, hey, Eric, I love this, and saying, when I've got time, refactor your whole portfolio. I and the nice thing is, the nice thing about job hunting, if you're going to work in dev, being so hard these days, is you've got tons of time to be sad
yeah.
and refactor your projects. It's not impossible. It's just a little bit harder these days, and I'm so sorry it is. We got that green stripe. Go, 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 go.
Cool.
Your turn.
Once again, if you're tuning in for the first time and you see this, just know that this bootcamp is free and the Free Code Camp is also free. And they're a registered nonprofit, so you can donate to them if you want to, if you have the resources to do so. You can also come back later and do it.
Right?
So we're going to go ahead now and click on Ask Me Later and move on. We're going to make a new
Amazing.
class.
And who was it? Who was it? Steven who said like, "Hey, do you know what? This feels like the same things again and again, but they don't always click."
Hmm.
But that's a big part of that. It's like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna do this until it either makes sense or until the muscle memory burned into your heart is like, you've used these words. I'll type this code." We will all find our way to fluency in our own time. We got a little pat though.
Yeah.
With you
Cool.
not supervising us on Friday, we were just getting like, "Wah," with the pats,
That's how it should be.
um, very like 90s gladiator movies.
So got a new class. Constructor takes two arguments, two parameters, and they're the x and y coordinates. Now, what we can do, oh wait, we've done this before. This line here of making a new object with A, B, and C
That
is
thingy.
is the same as this here. This is called the shorthand property name syntax. If you have a property name and a variable that share a name, that have the exact same name, case sensitive. So A and capital A are not the same. Then we can, instead of saying A colon A, B colon B, C colon C, we can write ABC inside the object. And we're going to be
Okay.
doing this.
So this is just it's doing that thing again where
Mhm.
JavaScript's like, "Ha ha ha, you've learned this syntax. You've learned how to do this thing and you're comfortable with it. I'm giving you a new syntax just to be mean."
it so some people like it one way, some people like it the other. We could write this dot position, which remember is position is a property on our new platform, which is an
And
object.
this just means this. Like the object we're in or
Yep,
this just means the context of where we're hanging out right now.
correct.
Just.
Now we could write x colon x y comma y, but because the property x and the variable or the argument x or the parameter x share the same name, we can shorten this to just be x. Then
Okay.
position will have a property called x with the value of whatever's being held in x.
Oh, because we're setting X to X, because we're setting X to be X, we don't have to say it twice. We're just like, "Hey, you know what X is doing. You know what Y is doing."
Let's keep going. Cool.
Oh,
Now we're gonna, yep.
this is fine. We're gonna say this dot width is gonna be equal to 200. That's gonna give us a green stripe. That's not even gonna hurt us.
Feel real
Okay.
good about that.
Oh, why'd we switch right when it got, like, really laid back? Oh, this is why. So after that, we need this dot height, and it's gonna be set to proportional size 40. Does it need to be it doesn't need to be this dot proportional size, it's just this dot height.
Stephen B, I'm going to bookmark this question for 30 seconds later. So we are setting the value of this dot height to be proportional size 40.
Okay. Oh, proportional size was a function we wrote earlier.
Correct.
I'm okay with this. Like
Okay.
you need my permission.
Why do we bother setting x to x since x is presumably already x? Is it though? Hold on a sec. Let me get out Python tutor. Cool.
Hmm,
Const
Python
x
tutor, huh?
equals 2. So const object equals x, x, y, y. I'm probably going overboard here, but it's all right. So we have two variables, x, y, and an object. That object has x set to 2 and y set to 3. So you're saying, why do we bother setting x to x since x is presumably already x? Because we want to save that x into the position property, which is an object in the platform. This is the same thing.
So we want to specifically say, hey, this X that we've got floating around is a global variable.
No, it's not.
Or,
Oh, yeah.
or
Here it is a global variable. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
but like this X that we're using someplace else, we want to use it as the X property of this object.
Correct.
So like,
So let's,
hey, we've got another X running around somewhere, and I want to give you your very special locally scoped X to use for stuff. Just go ahead and use that one over there. I'll point you to it.
okay. So you're saying,
Oh,
why do
Nojo
we
says
bother?
it's really good.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're
So
taking the constructor's X when the object's created and assigning it to the object.
correct.
Or the object's X. I got you, Nojo.
To
While you're typing this out, I'm terrible with like folks who've got cute avatars. Just like, oh yeah, like it's really nice that a Snorlax can type so quickly. Um, I understand that we're probably not having cats and Pokemon and all this learn with us, but still, it's nice to hold in your heart.
okay. So we've assigned this dot x to be x, this dot y to be y in our constructor. P is now an object that has two properties, x and y, set to 2 and 3 respectively. What we're doing in Free Code Camp is instead of setting x and y, we have a position object where we're setting this to be x and y. Let's try again. Now look at it now. P is an object that has a property called position, which itself is an object that has x and y. So it's a way of using objects to save values that aren't key value pairs, sorta. If you want like an unordered list of values, you can save them in an object with key values set to each other. Stephen B., I am so sorry. I'm not understanding the question.
Yeah.
This seems like the kind of thing we might want to either save for a Q&A or take to Discord.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. But I hope, yeah.
Everything's fine. Everything's going to be fine. We got a green stripe here and nothing can hurt us. Let's add a draw method to the platform class. Yeah.
Feeling real good about that?
Yep. So we're going to set CTX fill style to this hex code. So I think this means that this is going to fill in the shape that we haven't drawn yet with this.
Oh, this is like the player.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like, yeah, right? And below that, we're going to pass in X and Y coordinates along with the width and height.
Equals. No, wait, we're calling the method. And it takes 4 parameters. This dot x, this dot y. No, hold up. Position x, this dot position dot y, this dot width, and this dot height. Cool. So we're drawing a rectangle essentially. If I press start game now, will I see a platform?
No, I don't think so. Because
We've just made a class.
yeah, we're not using it yet.
Exactly.
Oh,
Cool.
so here's where we're gonna so Lisa Mehmet and Lisa are like, Jess, I don't know why you're taking so long on this. We haven't called it yet. Y'all are absolutely correct. Thank you. Because it was just me be like, no, when people ask that question, they always mean no.
So here we're going to start storing positions for the platforms that we're going to instantiate.
It's just an empty array. That can't even hurt us at this stage. Like we're like 7 weeks in. We're dead on the inside. This can't even touch us.
So we're going to have a series of objects. So X, 500, Y, proportional.
I'd copy and paste that. I ain't telling
I
you what to do.
should have. No, I should have. There we
But
go.
look, first one right at it, like magical.
See, now I'm going to copy and paste. I'm sorry, y'all. 700, 400. Perfect.
Oh, you don't want to set it to why?
Sorry.
You
Why
shouldn't have
is
gotten that green stripe. Oh, yes, yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. I was all like, haha, you're wrong. Haha, you're not wrong.
Oh no.
Let's just no, we're just gonna copy and paste these. These
I'll
can't even
do
hurt us.
I'll do one, and I might be mean and take us to the next step because
Okay. I
it
don't see
hurt.
why you're not wanting to get all the glory behind like copy and pasting these, but you do
It's
you.
it's a lot. I
Oh,
might just
it's more oh yeah, no, that's actually not that fun.
so I'll do one more, and then I'm gonna Mehmet, don't scare me, please. I don't know what
I love the way you were
really
like, "Step 74." I'd be like, "Yeah, does something bad happen? I'm
wait, are
excited."
we on? Oh, we are on step 74. That's what you
Okay.
mean.
Like
Yeah, fair. We had this the other day where I was like, I will not be typing out 12
oh,
desserts. So we'll just take this from here and move on to the next one.
oh, look at the joy of coding. It's like, "I've got you," but we're still too lazy.
Thank you so much.
Next step is to create a new list of platform instances called the platform class. Okay, const platform. It's a
I'm
class or
I'm
platform.
so excited about this. So we have an array of platform positions, right? We're going to call platforms. We're going to call platform positions dot map. So we're going to map over all of our position sets, right? Oh, we're not going to do that yet. Okay, so we're just doing platform positions dot map. I'm so excited about this. So the platform is a parameter which will implicitly return a new platform. And remember, the constructor of a new platform takes two arguments, the X position and the Y position. Now, because each of our platforms from our platform position is a pair of X and Y, we can pass in platform.x and platform.y. And that's a T, not a Y. How do we feel about this?
Yes.
You know what I'll do? Because I don't
I
feel
do know
so
what you'll
good
do.
about it. Yeah. Check it out.
Oh, I love the way this is framed as well. But like, Ramon, is this chill? Can we call the class while returning each value?
Well, we're not calling the class, we are instantiating it.
Oh,
We
so
are
we're
creating a new
making the class happen.
correct.
Okay.
This
So
is
we're
yeah,
making the class happen, and at giving it each the values it needs.
correct. check out what happened when I console log platforms. I get an array, because we did a map, of a series of objects. And these objects have 3 properties. One is position, which is an object made up of X and Y. The other one is width, and the other one is height. These objects are instances of a platform. So we have just made a lot of platforms. Let me see how many.
Okay. At least 5.
12. 12.
12.
I didn't want to type out 12 platforms. I'm sorry, y'all.
There we go. Also.
Type back. Now, inside our animate function, we're going to need to draw all the platforms. Sorry.
No. I was like, oh, here's where we're gonna make these happen. So we've got this, like, I know library is a different thing, but we've effectively got what feels like a library of platforms just waiting to go in this array of objects. And now we're saying, hey, we're gonna platform for each. So just draw me all these platforms.
Correct. So we're going to loop over each platform and call their individual draw method. Wait, did I do this right? Why don't I see it? Where are my platforms? I feel cheated.
Do you have to go to...
Oh, sorry. I think we'll just see it in the... We'll see why in the next one.
Yeah. So again, if y'all have the free extra cash just rattling about and you don't want to spend it on root beer or that like soft licorice you can get, a nice thing to get is donating to Free Code Camp. If I start the game, I will notice that the platforms are rendered on screen. Okay, I don't see that.
Am I doing something wrong?
But we went to the next step. Even if you had done something wrong, it would have just given you the code to show it anyway.
Yeah. So the platform does not move with it. Well, I don't see the platform at all. Well, I guess we'll see.
Let's do another step or two and see if everything just sort of... So inside the animate function, add a condition to check. Oh, here we can just say keys dot...
Well, let's just look up our...
we did a right key variable, didn't we?
Yeah, where are those? Where are those? Where are those? Platform. We had that keys.
Oh, wait, stop. It's right there.
Keys left key pressed.
Yeah.
So. And this.
Right. See, that's a copy and paste kind of thing.
Absolutely. Okay, so I did it wrong, and that's because I'm missing curly brackets.
Hey.
So inside our condition, we're going to do platforms for each. We're going to use the subtraction assignment operator to subtract 5 from the platform's X position. Cool. Platform.position.x minus equals 5. Well, I don't see any platforms yet. I wonder if it's a height. Let me try something, friends.
Are the platforms...
Let's see.
Oh!
Yep. There they are. So, in case you're wondering, the reason we couldn't see them before is that they were so high up, they were off the screen.
Oh, and like you by default zoom way in to make sure that we can see how you're typing.
So now when we're moving to the right, look, the platforms are moving to the right, to the left. which kind of makes it look like we're moving along the screen. So Becca's saying, I see them on mine. That's why, because I'm so zoomed in so that y'all can read the code that we can't see them. So fun times ahead, everybody. We're going to do lots of zooming in and out. Pat, pat. Cool. So now we're going to do the same, but when we're moving left, which makes sense, right? If we're moving to the left, we want the platforms to move which way? Learners? If we're moving to the left, which way do we want the platforms to move?
I was all like, ooh, learners.
I mean, you can tell us too if you want, Jess.
I'd imagine if we're going left, the platforms are going to go right, so it looks like we're going past them.
Perfect. That is perfectly put. Ooh, so we need to.
Yeah.
We're going to do the same thing. I might copy paste because we're going to take all of those platforms and instead of moving them to the left, we're going to move them to the right.
And while you're doing that, I'll just go ahead and cue folks. We're going to be wrapping up in just a little bit.
Okay.
Not right away, but just slowly, just winding down. Not just because I'm yawning. But if folks have any questions, I've got a couple saved, and we've got a couple that are like discussion questions. Oh, this is quite cute and fun. Oh, so please drop any questions you might have into the chat. We'll be so excited to talk about them. I think the functionality we might not add, we might encourage the learners to add, is actually interacting with these platforms. I just want to be really conscious that we're not stealing all of the like moments.
Oh, actually, we're going to do that now.
We are stealing.
We are going to add what is called collision detection. This is the piece of code that detects that the player has collided or is touching one of the platforms. Doing lots of looping through the platforms, eh? Cool. Feel pretty good about that. Pat, pat. Now, inside our callback, we're going to add a new variable called collision detection rules and assign it an empty array. And inside that array, we're going to add a Boolean expression that checks whether the player's Y position plus the player's height is less than or equals to the platform's Y position. I'll tell you all what I'm going to do. First, we're going to do that. Player dot position dot Y plus player dot height is less than platform dot position dot Y. Now, I've just written some really gnarly stuff. I'd love to hear a guess from anyone what we're checking here. You know what I might do? I might fire. Jess, you're muted. I'm sorry.
I bet I know what you might do.
What's that? No, I'm not going to Python tutor. I'm going to do something else.
No.
I'm going to fire up Excalidraw.
Oh.
We have a couple moments. Why not?
Yeah.
No idea what I was drawing here before. Let's erase that. Thank you. So we have, this is a circle, P, L for player, and we have a platform, P. This was a terrible name idea. But okay, circle is player, rectangle is platform. So the circle, the player, has an a Y coordinate. We are checking, bear with me, that the Y coordinate plus the height, which is Y plus H. Wow, that's really badly drawn. I'm sorry, folks. Let me try that again. But this time, I'm going to use typey. Y plus H. Now it's tiny. There we go. So this is the player's Y coordinates plus the player's height is less than the platform's Y coordinate. So if we look at this now, what are we checking? Stephen B, I'll answer your question in real short. Yes. Yes. It is. I've
It's
programmed games
big and
before.
messy.
I've programmed games before. It is exactly like this, and I apologize.
Oh,
Now,
wow. So you're actually suggesting that programming games is even worse than doing regular JavaScript and nobody should do it.
to each their own.
That's not a
So
no.
bear with me here. So we are checking that the player's y coordinate plus their height, which is the top of the player, is less than the platform's y coordinate. What are we checking? We are checking that the player is currently below the platform. Tina B. Checking if player is bumping their head on the platform. Perfect.
Bonk.
How else would we check that we're colliding with the platform?
We've got
We could,
that like collision doofy.
right, and this is the code we're writing. We could check, for example, that the player's x coordinate, which is here, plus the player's width, which is the right-hand side of the player, is less than the platform's x coordinate. That way we know it's not colliding right to left. If we want to check that the player is not, oh my goodness. Check that the x coordinate of the player is bigger than the x coordinate of the platform plus the width of the platform. And then finally, if we want to check that the player is above the platform, we want to check that the player's y coordinate is bigger than the platform's y coordinate plus the platform's height.
Okay. Okay. I don't love it, but I'm with you.
So if all of those, so if, how do I put this?
How do you put it? Like
Because I've had it
earlier,
before.
you were like, yeah, people should definitely write games. You're just going to keep lying to people.
I would never. So if all of those conditions are false, then the player is colliding with the platform. I wanted to take a minute to walk us through that because I think it's super, super confusing.
It's messy.
But that's where we'll stop.
Ha 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 ha.
Oh, hold on. Player's y position plus the player's height is less than or equals. My bad. The rest is homework.
But, like,
There
the thing
are
I really wanna push is, like, not, like, right now, tonight homework. Like,
no.
look, yeah, if you're gonna spend time on stuff, this can wait until next week. This could wait till the week after next week. Just because we're not coming on live does not mean you need to be finished. I am not gonna be finished going through the beta thing, like, every single step when we finish the boot camp.
There are a lot of steps that haven't been done yet. As long as you can instantiate objects and understand the relationship between them, you're good.
Oh, I mean, you're still having to write JavaScript, so you're as good as you're gonna get.
Tomorrow we'll be coming back to do more algorithms.
And I think this
That's going to be
project is
yep.
still pretty meaty.
It's going to be a two-parter as well. Shall we
Okay.
do some Q&A?
Yeah. Jane's oh, Jane said, "Hey, can we play around in the spreadsheet exercises sometime?" Because Jane made all these functions and now cannot see how to use them. Um, you're the nice one. What do you say?
We have a session next Friday called Refactoring and Wrap Up. Maybe we can try and play around with it then. What I would recommend in the meantime, Jane, is maybe adding some functions of your own, expanding on them, changing what the functions do. Go to the next question, if I may. Window object works the same as document object? No, so a window has a document in it. Remember, the window is the browser window, and the document is the web page in the browser. So they're different. What's the best tech to start as a fresher? Web dev, app dev, AI, data?
Oh,
Do you want to take this?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I got the answer you're supposed to give as a teacher, and then I got the real answer.
Go for it.
So, do you want me to do the teacher answer first?
Sure.
The kind of work you try and break into and the kind of programming you learn for the first time is really about where your interests are. So, what kinds of things do you want to make? What kinds of things are you interested in? Now, you want my real answer?
Go for it.
Y'all are just finishing up a web dev and then a JavaScript thing. Do web, okay? Do web. So data has a whole bunch of messy gubbins that you're gonna have to learn on top of it and you haven't done yet. There's so many different programming languages and ecosystems and tooling and then like different accounts you gotta make. AI's got a lot, there's a big hype bubble. Like I say as somebody who works with AI data, huge hype bubble right now. A lot of things I'm seeing in the AI space are just completely silly. But the less silly jobs I'm seeing in AI involve a lot of higher level maths, a lot of specialist knowledge that takes forever. Y'all have been doing web devy stuff. If it doesn't break your heart to do it, go ahead and try this.
I'd love to recommend, if I may, not getting hung up on this question. I.e., by which I mean, don't put your career on pause just because some screaming voice on video platform of choice told you that AI is the only way to make money, right? The best way to make money. Data is the best way to make money. A lot of these things are done for attention and sometimes can be misleading. Um,
Oh
so
yeah. Then and it's sorry.
no, go for it.
'Cause, like, it's wild to me that I'm seeing so many, like, very fast talking YouTubers who are just like, "Yeah, I wanna tell you right now, how the only thing that you need to be in is AI," and I'm like, "I remember you. Last year, you were saying the exact same things with the exact same words about crypto silliness." I don't think
Two
and I
years ago,
think
it was
that
NFTs.
right? It was wild that we were pretending those were a thing. It was wild that some people were pretending those were a thing. So, like, if this is your first hype bubble in contact with tech, it can be like, "Oh gosh, AI is gonna replace us as programmers. We've gotta get it." I worry about everything, and I am not worried about it. A lot of AI influencers like, just like, "Hey, I'm totally building a thing. I can't show it to you yet, but it's definitely not just, like, something bolted onto ChatGPT." Like, I w
Beyond that, though, here's the thing. Even if you're asking yourself, "Oh, should I learn JavaScript, TypeScript, or Python, or Swift, or whatever?" Here's the thing. In 5 years, this might change. In 5 years, TypeScript might just get like, and I'm just making a wild guess. I'm not saying this is true.
Oh.
TypeScript might just like JavaScript might just bring in a bunch of features from TypeScript, and then TypeScript will no longer exist.
Or what
But
if
here's the
Perl becomes the dominant programming paradigm because it's, like, poetic and interesting?
correct. What I find important is that these technologies, the ones around them, will continue to exist. The web as a platform is going to exist in 5 years.
It
A-
better.
AI, NFTs, all of that stuff. It might not. The programming languages we might write them in may or may not come and go, but the important part is being consistent. The important part is picking up skills that transcend those things. Understanding, for example, what an object is, what an array is, what a class is. All of this stuff makes a huge difference. So, what to learn first? You're kind of already learning something now. Why not
Ooh,
stick with it?
ooh, ooh. Do you know what? Um, I have the same advice for what to learn, in programming languages I do for human languages. Um, Either learn what you have the most support and resources for, or learn what intersects with your interests the most.
Very well put. We are oh, Stephen B, I'm so sorry. I've been thinking about this question in the meantime.
Can you
This
ask
what
this in a different way? I don't yeah. We
Yeah.
adore you, but I don't know what this is asking.
Oh, please. Or bring it to Discord and maybe, my brain will click like it did last week. This question from Stephen B. I'd be curious to hear if others more experienced think that the structure of this animate function is typical. It seems really big and doing a lot of different things. So, okay, let's think about how a game works. You might have heard of, and I'm going to get a little bit nerdy for a minute. You might have heard of the concept of FPS or um, frames per second, right?
Oh,
That's
frame
the time.
I thought first person shooter, and I was like, "Okay, yeah."
I mean, true that too. But in a game, what's happening between each frame is that the computer's doing a bunch of calculations. If you're thinking of a 3D game, it's like, which way is the wind blowing? What characters are displayed? Are they like doing like idle animations? Is your character like currently talking to somebody? All of this stuff takes place, and takes a lot of computing power. And this, when I program games, I usually call it update, right? The
Okay.
update method, and like does all of this stuff. It checks if buttons are being pressed. It checks if you've been hit by a bullet or something. I don't know. So you need to do all of these things. You need to draw a whole bunch of things. So to go back to your question, Stephen B, it seems really big and doing a lot of different things. This is where the magic of something like refactoring comes in. When I see a lot of chunks of similar code that does similar things, I can take those
Squish 'em.
chunks, put them into a different function, and then call that function. Give the function a name, say draw platforms, draw
Okay.
player and platforms, draw enemies. That is more descriptive. But the thing about a game is that it does a lot of things. I think that's all our questions. Yeah. Shall we let y'all go?
Amazing. Yep. Homework, homework, homework. Please be as soft and chill to yourself as possible. If you are like absolutely like, I have so much free time, I have nothing to do, you can go ahead and finish all of this. That's chill. But my homework for this is going to be to finish it when you got some time. Yeah. The big homework, and I think the glorious, relaxing homework is be as soft to yourselves as you can. This is a lot. Yeah. We will go ahead and lovingly let y'all go. We'll be right back here, same time, not messing around with time until next week, tomorrow. Thank you so much, my loves.
Bye for now.
Bye.